This is a guide on how are you going to work on the lab activity for this week and for the succeeding weeks. So you will see below here, lab 1. So you go and click that. You click add submission. You just have to read all of this instruction. And today I'm going to guide you how are you going to set up your uh, machine or your computer to be able to work on this. There are three things that you need to have. You should have a Java JDK, an IDE or a code editor, and then you should also have a Maven. And for submission, you should have a GitHub account. So I'm going to demonstrate with you how are you going to set up these things. So first, you need to verify if you have installed Java already, or most of you already know this. So to verify if you have Java working, you open your terminal or your CMD, then you type in Java. So if you see something like this is an indicator that you don't have Java set up yet, or it's the Java command, the Java program is not recognizable in your CLI or command line interface. So we're going to fix that. We're going to also fix the MVN command. It's not yet here. So first things for Java to work, we need to install the Java JDK. So you go and search Java JDK, and then you click the first result, and then below you scroll down to the download section. You can choose whichever version here. So I'm just going to pick up the latest version, JDK 26, and then under the Windows, for most of you are using Windows, you just select Windows here and then click this link. Okay, this link under the row x64 installer. Okay, you go and download that. I already have downloaded it, and in fact, I have already installed it. When you have finished downloading, you will be provided with JDK 26 Windows x64 bin exe in your downloads folder here. So I do not do that because I already have installed it. So when you are done installing it, you will see it under your program files, Java here, program files and then Java, and you will see uninstalled JDK. By the way, I have installed JDK 22 in this machine. It doesn't matter what version, so you are good to use the Java JDK 26 version or whatever version. So now, in order for this to be recognizable, to be recognized in our CLI interface, we need to add it into our um, path variable in our environment. So to do that, you go here and then you type in env and then you select, if you are using your own computer, you can choose this, but if you are in school, edit environment variables for your own account, this one for your account. So you just select that, you will be presented with this. First, we're going to create a, a new entry. We're going to call it Java Home, all uppercase. And then the value, there are two ways you can do this. Either you click browse directory, or you can just go inside that and copy. You copy this path. You just click on this bar here and copy that and then paste it here. Okay, one more step. You go to your path, you add it in here, you put in here, make sure that you have added the Java home. Actually, um, you can just paste in here the path that you copied a while ago, but this is easier. Okay, and then you put here bin because inside it you have bin here. It is where the Java command is located. Okay, going back here, Java. underscore home, surround it with percent sign, and then backslash, take note that's backslash, and then bin. Okay, okay. And then restart this, and then open CMD again. You can now type Java version. So Java is already recognized. Next thing is we're going to set up the MVN. We are going to use Maven to Maven. For most of you, you already know Maven. Maven is a way to manage our project written in Java language. So we're going to use this programming language in building our web application. So we need a Maven. So what you're going to do is search for Maven here. Just search for Maven. And then you click on the second result, download Apache Maven. And then you just click on the current, or maybe you just go here. Okay, you scroll down here and then select for the binary zip format. Okay, that will be easier for you to unzip. You click on that and then you will be provided with um, a zip file like this. So what you will do is you right click it, extract all, and then next thing is you're going to move this. You open that and then you move this to a safe location other than the downloads. Okay. So if you are in school, you just have to move it to your own document folder. Okay, you can move it into C, but I doubt if you are allowed to move to C drive in school. I think that's restricted. If it's not restricted, then you can just do it. So I will have it here already, Apache Maven 3.9.16. What I will do is double click on that, double click again, and then I'm just going to copy this. Copy, and then going back again, typing env, the same window that we placed the Java path a while ago. You just click on that, and then you edit the path. This time you just edit this and add it at the last row. So you have your Java home there, the one we added a while ago, and then the Maven. Click OK, OK again. And then to test that, you have to restart your CMD. And when you type MVN dash version, you will see Apache Maven 3.9.16. And you're good to go. The next thing that we're going to do is we can now create our app. Last time, I showed you, you go to Spring Boot Initializer to download a boilerplate. But this time, you don't need to do that. You just have to open the VS Code, and then we'll be presented with this. Let me just change the theme of this so you can see it better. Just make it light. Okay, what I will do is I'm going to open this and click create Java project. But if you don't see this, before we proceed, I want to remind you that you need to install an extension Java. You just search Java there and you need to install extension packs for Java. Okay, it's already installed on my machine. Later on, you are going to also use Spring Boot, but in this activity, you don't need it right now. But I just want you to know that you will be needing this later on. Yeah, you will need it later on. You just search for Spring Boot and you have to also download that. But this is not needed right now. Okay, so you just go back here. When you have installed the extension pack, you will be able to see create Java project. But the shortcut for this is you just have to press Ctrl Shift P and then uh, create Java project. You just search on that in case you are not presented with this option right now. Okay, create Java project, click on that. Just wait, and then you select Maven. You select Maven, no archetype, and then you add in here your group ID. This is anything you like, but it should start with domain extension like com, org, net, whatever. but most common is com. I'm just going to use com, and then I'm going to use Janverse. Say you're going to set up a website later on and you want it to be your nickname, pseudonym, or whatever. It could, your full name could even work, but do not add space. I'm just going to use Janverse. Okay, I'm going to put up my website. I'm going to create a janverse.com, and you're going to reverse that and add it here as a group ID, com.janverse. Just two words separated by dot. And then the name of the project. So for our project, we're just going to have one project for the rest of um, maybe not for the rest of the semester. I'm just going to instruct you later on if we will be creating another project. But this single project will be reused, okay, in every succeeding. It's going to be reused in the future lab activities. So I'm just going to name it WebDev2, press enter, and then I will just select where I want to save it. You can put it in your document or you can put it in your desktop. By the way, if you are in school, your files will be moving with you wherever unit you're going to sign in into. Uh, it only works on the Windows computers. I'm just going to move it into the desktop and then select destination folder. And after that, I will open the folder, click File, open folder, and then click Desktop, and then select the previously created project. And then you will see here the file directory of your file structure rather of your project as discussed in the videos. So here POM is the listing of your dependencies. And right now we don't have to touch this, okay? So in your activity, you just have to put all your files inside this folder. So for example, here, you're going to create a student class, okay? So what you will do is right click, new file, name it student.java, which is, this is a public class student. So you can begin typing private name, age, and course. Oops, sorry. Uh, private, private string name, private string course, then private age, okay, and age. And then there's a secret for this. What is a secret already? You can press Control dot and you can generate. Sorry, it's not that. This is the AI thing. Control dot and then generate getters and setters, and then you can generate constructors. I'm going to click on this and so on and so forth. I can also create my constructors. You just have to follow the instruction. Okay. Then save. Let's save that. This time we're going to put this to GitHub. Okay. So what you will do is you finish the activity, you just read the application, you can research. This is already discussed in OOP and Compro 2. Just do a independent refreshing. Okay. Even though I made discussions in the video, the video made discussions on this, but it's not basically detailed. The videos are basically meant to refresh you on the topics discussed in your previous courses. Okay, and then what we have to do now is I'm going to I'm going to go to GitHub. Okay, and then I'm going to create a new repository. I'm going to name it WebDev2. Now you just make it private so your classmates or anybody won't be able to see your activity. Okay, create repository, and then what I will do is copy this. you select HTTPS, make sure you select HTTPS here, and then copy that HTTPS link. Okay. And before moving to the VS Code, how are we going to connect our codes to this? I want you to go to setting, and then I want you to add or invite me as a collaborator. So you add people, you type in Janverse22, that's my official username. I select this, then add. The reason for you to do this is for me to be able to access your submission later on. Okay? And then what should I do now next is we go back to our VS Code after being sure that you have copied your link. Go back here. One thing that I forgot is check if our program is working. Okay, and make use of the MVN that we installed a while ago before pushing this code into our um, GitHub. Okay, what we should do, what we have to do now is open our terminal. Click New Terminal, or the shortcut for that is Control Backtick. Backtick is the key beside your number one key. Okay, first thing is I have to run this. I'm going to run MVN. I need to select. Okay, I need to change PowerShell into CMD. Okay, then just remove that. We're going to use CMD. We have to select, we have to run MVN compile. The purpose of this is it's going to download all the dependencies and compile our application. Okay, it's going to compile our application and bundle all dependencies, whatever we're going to put in the POM XML. Right now, we don't have any dependency yet, but in the discussion, it's discussed how we're going to add dependencies. We don't need any dependency right now. Okay, so it's success. And then we can now run how to run this application. You go to your main application or the class that has the main. By default, it's main.java. And then you click this play button there, and then your program will run already. Okay, let me just close this. This is not needed. Hello world, it's working. Okay, as you can see, he just printed hello world because that's what we have right now. Okay, now moving on to the next step. If you are done with your program, we can now push to the GitHub. But since this is not yet a repository and it's not yet added into our GitHub, here are the initial things that we need to do, and these are done once only. Number one is to create this as a repo, local repo, by running git init. And then number two is to um, connect this to our GitHub or our remote repository located in GitHub by typing git add remote git remote sorry git remote add origin Control V, you just paste in there the link of your repo. Git remote add origin. Press enter. Okay. And then next is we're going to create a new branch right now. I want you to save your activity into their corresponding branch. According to the instruction, we need to put it in the branch name. Okay, branch is just uh, a way to organize your codes in GitHub. So it's just like a container, okay? An isolated container where you can put your um, codes before making it final or before merging it into the main branch. So by default, all your codes are um, saved in the main branch, okay? But we can create many branches. Now we can create one branch for this activity. The branch name is week one. So to create a branch, we can run git checkout dash b and then name it week one. Git checkout dash b, or that's branch, and then the name of your branch, which is week one. Okay. Okay. And after that, what we can do now is we can now stage, commit, and then push. This next three steps Okay, these next three steps are what you're going to do most often when you are working on your code. When you have changes, you have to add it. Okay, when you are sure and it's final, you can commit it. Okay, I'm just gonna do lab one. I'm just gonna make the message as lab one. Okay, and as you can see, if it's your first time to use your computer for Git, you will be presented with like this. You just have to set it now before redoing the git commit-m. So as you can see, it's rejected. The git commit-m is rejected because I haven't set this. And this is typically what will happen if it's your first time to use your computer and if it's fresh. So I'm just going to do that git config global user.email. You put in there your email. My email that I have there is janver77@gmail.com. You can use, if you use your Lorma Edu to create the GitHub account, then you can just use it in there. And then git config global user.name. You can now use global because you have your own personal account in the laboratory. My username is Janvers. Okay. Your username is this one. Then I'm going to rerun. I'm pressing the arrow up key to rerun this command that failed a while ago because I haven't set my username and email. Hence, we see the author identity unknown um, report there. Okay, and then lastly, I can now git push origin. The name of our branch is week one. Git push origin week one. Take note of that. Before we were pushing this way, git push origin main because we are pushing it to the main branch, but now we are pushing it to our week one branch. Then again, for first time, or if your computer is fresh, you will be prompted to connect to the GitHub. You just click sign in with your browser, okay, or sign in with code. I'm just going to click sign in with your browser. It's going to open my default browser. And currently my GitHub is signed in. I'm just going to authorize it. Authorize the Git ecosystem. And then you can now close this. Wait for this to close. What happened? Let's do it again. Okay, authentication succeeded. And then as you can see, it's already uploaded. Now let's check it. Let's refresh this. You will have your week one branch in there already, and it contains all your codes. Okay, that's just it, as simple as that. Okay, we don't have the main branch already there because we did not push that. We did not we did not push initial code to the main branch. So as you can see, the only branch available here is the week one, and we don't have the main already. Okay, as simple as that. Now, say for example, you move to different place. Okay, you push your code and you move to different place. Like you created this in your home, and then you go to school and you want to continue in your activity. So what you will do is like this. Okay, you go to your GitHub. You are going to clone it. You go to code. Okay, you go there, click code, and then make sure HTTPS is selected, and then copy this. Then the next time you open a computer that is different from where you created this initial computer, you just open any terminal or CMD or even the VS Code terminal. That would just be fine. For example, I'm just going to close this. I'm going to close this folder. Close this folder, and I'm going to open the terminal. Okay. You can alternatively you can open the CMD for this purpose. Say for example, I am inside John, users John, my home directory. I will go to my downloads folder, for example, I can type git clone, then paste the repo link, cloning into web dev, and then I'm going to file, go to file, open folder. This time, I'm not going to go to desktop. I have a clone, okay, project in downloads. I'm going to select that. And then here is just a clone. This is not different. This is different. This is not the same with the project I created earlier. This is a clone coming from my remote repository, which is the coming from the GitHub. Now I'm going to open the terminal again, trash folder. Just wait for this. You just switch to CMD, git branch. We are inside week one. Next time, if I'm going to give you an activity and I instruct you to put it inside week two, you just create another branch, git checkout, git checkout, dash b, week two. You can make changes here, write new file, or yeah, for example, I'm going, what is the instructed here? Whatever. For example, I'm going just to create week 2 class. For example, okay, week 2 dot Java. Okay, um, whatever code, then save. So what I will do now, okay, for this, I'm not going to git in it. I'm not going to git remote add. It's already added. The remote repository URL is already attached to this. So what I will just do is the git add dot git commit dash m. I'm just going to name it lab 2. Okay, and then git push origin week 2 because that's the name of our current branch. Okay, okay, these are the three steps that you will just keep repeating: add, commit, and then push to the branch. So if I'm going to go here, just ignore this. I'm going to go here, refresh your code. You will now you will now have week 2 branch there, which contains, look at this, your source contains week2.java, but when you go to week 1 branch, it doesn't contain the week 2, okay? Because you push it to the week 2 branch only. Now, if you want to go back to initial branch, okay, like you want to look into it, okay, you can just use git branch, no, check out week 1. You switch into week 1 branch. Now going back to last branch, okay, git check out week 2. Now, as you can see a while ago, I have the B there. You use the dash B there if you're going to create a new uncreated branch, okay? But if it's already present, you just have to use the checkout without the dash B flag. So I'm going to type git branch. It will list you all the current branch in your repository, okay? As simple as that. Now there is also an instruction here that here in task 1, you need to add a screenshot of successful MVN compile committed alongside with the project. Just place it inside your screenshot folder. So you just create another folder in the root directory screenshot here. And then you just put in there the screenshot of the MVN compile output. Okay? What we are looking in there is you should get, never mind those warning, you should get a build success. In case, by the way, if you're going to type git and it doesn't work, it just means that you haven't installed git. Okay, I forgot to mention that earlier in this step. Okay, what you should just do is you just go to git. You just go to your browser and type git, and then you just download the first application. Install for Windows. You just download the .xender, this one, standalone, click that and it will give you a .exe file that you can install in your computer.